Hello, everyone, and happy Saturday. I am so excited to be here. This is our live. We've been doing this every single day, these lives, for our magazine. I don't know if you know that Holistic Success Codes have our own magazine. In the beginning, last year, I started off the magazine calling it Parenting, Learning, and Living. This year, we started calling it Learning, Living, and Leading. Why the change? Because we have expanded it. Since last year, we have expanded into serving humans versus just parents and just about learning. This is now about human system, which is our Readiness OS, which is what we use to help. We can help anyone at any age, at any stage, to unblock themselves and get them into flow so that they can focus and then they can perform and then they can accomplish. So that's exactly what we do. And that is why it's called learning, living, and leading. And I don't know about you, but I'm kind of tired about trying harder. You know, people always say, try harder, try harder. I've always tried harder in my life. And some of you might also have tried really hard and trying hard still, right? So it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? When our system is blocked, we're a biological system, we're a living being. And if my system is blocked, it's not easy for me to just try harder and get results. It doesn't really work. So that's why it's really important to look at this from a different perspective. It's time for us to look at it from a different perspective. So I do have a guest today. She was one of the authors who contributed an article to this magazine, this issue. That is Coach Trish. Welcome. How are you?
I'm great. How are you today?
Very good. Very good. I'm just
Like,
talking to them about our magazine and how we had a change of name over the year. It's now called Learning, Living, and Leading. So, welcome. Thank you for being here.
happy to be here.
Awesome.
And I'm excited to
So,
be in the magazine.
yes,
Very,
and
yeah.
and I was just telling them about the end of trying harder era. Have you been trying hard in life?
I tried hard for a long, long time. Still trying hard.
Yes,
But
yes. So we need to end that
in a
because we need
healthy
to make,
way.
yeah, and making the readiness is so important. The readiness is the key to that, right? Ending it through
Absolutely.
readiness. Yes. So before we get started, that's our magazine. If you haven't had a chance to find where it is, there's a link below this video. Make sure to click that and enter the password flow, all capital FLOW, and you have access to not just this issue, but all the issues from the past year and a half. So make sure to look at it, read it, and there's so much wisdom in this magazine and as other ones as well. Now, before we get started, I do want to bring us here and now. I know Trish has been busy this today, right?
I have. But, most days it's kind of like that. It's good. Good busy.
Yeah. So we tend to, what we do is we always chasing the next thing or the next thing, right? So we're never have the chance to be here and now. It's the hardest thing that we're all learning to do, including myself, right? How about yourself? Every day I learn to
Absolutely.
be here and now. So what we do most of our lives is that we learn to be in the past. We love to replay what happened to us or what somebody said. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you that instead of playing the good things, we usually play the bad things, right? Over and over. I wish to say that it's the other way around, but that doesn't happen because why? The bad things always keeps us trapped, hooked. It's almost we're addicted to playing it again. So it's like watching the same movie. It's like reading the same chapter again and again. How many times are we going to read it? How many times are we going to watch it? Eventually, we have to let it go and move on to the
Absolutely.
next, right? And I'm talking to
Absolutely.
myself as well, not just to you. Like whatever I say, it also belongs to me, right? Us, I'm doing the same thing. Every time I go to the past, I pull myself to now and here. This is a conscious work. If we can pull ourselves now and here, then I can create here. When I'm over here in the past, I'm just drowning in what happened. Why didn't I do this? I should have done this. I should have said that. I could have, redo it again, but I can't redo it again. Can we, Trish? Coach Trish?
Absolutely not. There's
No,
no redos.
no. So the only thing we can get from it is the lessons. That's the only thing that's available to all of us. So grab all the lessons and once and for all, just let it go. Let go of the past.
I
Because
love that.
taking too much, right? Too much space, too much energy, too much time is
A
gone
lot
into
of
it.
energy. A lot
Yeah.
of energy.
Yeah.
Sucks a lot of your energy focusing on something you can't do anything about.
And sometimes we say it's overwhelming, and it's also we say it's life is boring. That's boring. If you're playing past, it's gonna be boring. How many times are you gonna watch the past play again and again? It's gonna get boring. So it's also if you're bored, that's probably another reason to look into it. Am I playing my past too many times? So again, just grab the lessons and let it go. It's not easy as it's said, but you can do it. Just grab the lessons and let it go. Now, if I go to the future, that's another place that we like to visit, right? Some of us sometimes we dream of our future with good things, right? It's going to happen, that's going to happen, I'm planning on this, I'm going to do this. But then minute after, we also say to ourselves, that's not going to happen. I don't think that's going to ever happen to me. How could it be possible? I can't access that, I can't do that, that's not for me. So why do we say that? We plan, we do everything, and at the same a few seconds later or a few days later we say the opposite of all of that. Why do we do that? Because we are projecting our past. The memories from the past is clouding the future. So again, if we spend a lot of time in doing that kind of future planning, again, you're going to be trapped.
Definitely.
So recreating the future is not something you want to do with the projection of the past if they're not good memories. So future is available to us, right? Everybody has future, right, Coach Trish?
Absolutely. Your
It's
future
waiting
can
for
be
you.
whatever you want it to be.
Yes, it's there. So only thing we can do with the future is really bless it, and we have to release it. It's available to you. It's going to come to you when you're ready for it. But the only place that's certain and available right now is now, right here. So if I bring my hand here, this is the only moment we have. So why do we spend so much in the past and for so much in the future and not here? Because that's how we have been conditioned. That's how we live. But we're changing
Comfortable.
that. It's comfortable.
Comfortable. Yep.
But I'm used to it. But this is a consciousness to bring you here and now. So do this with your hand to always bring you here and now. If your mind goes wandering into the past or the future, bring it here, and this becomes an anchor for you. So now, in order to bring us now and here, we can add a little bit more to this. So Trish, what do you do to bring yourself now and here besides consciously bringing yourself here and here? What else can we do?
I do the breathe in for 4, hold for 4, and out for 6. I do that.
Perfect. Awesome.
I
Let's do
Yeah.
that because
Okay.
we all want to arrive here and we want to be here. So let's inhale for 4, hold for 4. And remember, when you're holding it, send that air to all over your body because sometimes we forget and we don't send it deep enough. So send it while you're holding it to everywhere. And then we're going to release it for 6, letting it go through your mouth. Let every stress out, let go, let the shoulders drop. Let's just breathe out for 6. Now, some people are so concerned about the numbers. It's just a number. We don't care about the number. It's about your breath. Just we with the breath, then, oh no, did I do 6? Nobody cares if you did 6 or not. That's not the point. The point is for you to breathe
Oh,
out. That's it. Right? That's
I
so
just picked
important.
those numbers. I tried
Yeah,
different
yeah.
numbers and then I
No,
just landed on them. So
numbers are good because it allows you to stay that longer, right? Like if I did 8, I would have stayed longer. So for those of you who are concerned, I can't hold my breath for four counts. That's okay. It's not the point. Do it as much as you can. That's the point. Okay, so
yeah.
let's inhale again. 4 counts. Hold for 4. Sending that air deep, deep into parts that you never send them to. And then exhaling for 6 and letting everything go through your mouth. Whew, whatever you're carrying, stress, worry, fear, anything that can be released. Release it. And one more time. And when you're doing this, if you have your feet on the floor, that would be even more grounding. So let's go inhale for 4. Hold for 4. And exhale for 6. Make a sound if you want to. Awesome. Now you're here. You should be here. You should feel different. When you're here and now is the only place where you can learn, you can live, and you can lead. Every other place, there's nothing available to us. This is the only place where you can create. All opportunities are available to all of us to create in the now and here. So, welcome, thank you, and thank you. And I'm going to now ask Trish about some of her what she wrote in the article. I'm excited
That's
about that
great.
article. Yes, and if you
Just
haven't read
I would
it,
like to just
yeah,
about the breathing, doing it before exercise has been really great too. If I go for a walk or I go to do Pilates, doing that right before exercise, it really
yeah,
gives your body a signal that it's time to focus on your body. So that's
beautiful.
a
Love
yeah,
it. Love
good.
it. Okay, so we're going to talk about exhaustion. Anybody feeling exhausted? No?
Haven't cured that one yet.
If you're a teacher, I don't think that's available to you yet. Exhaustion has become part of the job description for many teachers, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
it sure
So
has.
in the article, Coach Trish, you said that you didn't come to readiness through insight. You came through exhaustion. What did that exhaustion actually feel like in your body?
Oh, well, actually, it's other people can see it. My son sees it. He says, "Mom, your shoulders are
Mm,
so hunched up." So
mm,
it's definitely there first, or maybe last. I don't know, but noticeably,
mm,
my upper body is tense, and and focus. When you become like that, just being staying focused on any one thing is very challenging. And as a teacher in a classroom, you're expected to focus on many things at once, which isn't really possible. So when you when you reach the level of exhaustion, it's hard to keep even minutes on one thing, you know?
mhm. Yes.
So it feels like a burden physically on you, on me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Heavy, heavy,
Heavy,
right?
very heavy, very heavy. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Sometimes you're picking up your legs to take the steps feels heavy.
Mm. So when did you realize that trying harder was not helping, and it was harming?
Well, for myself, I realized it as a child, as a teenager, that all the pressure to do more and do better wasn't connecting with me.
Mm,
But with students, I noticed that when I became in a classroom consistently in my dropout prevention school, where I would see students just shut down for so long and so much pressure from parents and guidance counselors and other people to, get it done, get it done, get it done. And the more you pressured them, the more they just folded into their own, well, just sometimes just flat out going to sleep, right?
mm,
Exhausted to the point of you can't even wake them up. They just can't even hear it anymore. So that
mm,
I recognize that as that they're just so overwhelmed, and they're getting overwhelmed when this pressure comes. So it's not the pressure's not making them go, oh, I should do more work. It's doing the opposite.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. You described watching curiosity disappear. What was the moment you knew you could no longer participate in that pattern?
Um, it's tricky because in a way I'm still participating in it because I'm still working. So so the pattern of just keep doing the same thing that doesn't work and trying to find ways to ignite their curiosity, which
Mm,
really is not through schoolwork.
mm.
That's
Are you
not
sure
where it's
about
at.
that? Are you sure
Oh
about
yeah,
that? I'm
I'm
kidding.
pretty positive that curiosity doesn't come with math problems or, you know, writing proper sentences is not bringing out curiosity. But I have things in like coloring and paints, and I just have them come sit at a table with me, and then we can talk about whatever comes up, and then they can be curious about things because they rather just be on their phone, they rather not engage with each other. But if they have something to do with their hands, they're not as much, on the spot to like talk to, you directly. We're just all painting, and two people start talking about something, and then other people do, and it builds a level of comfort, and then curiosity can come. But they can't do anything over there self-paced on their computer like they're supposed to be without any, care for what it is. There's no connection to why they need to do that. It's for them, it's just vacant work that's pointless.
Yes.
It's sad. So there's no curiosity in pointless work, you know.
But since becoming a holistic neurogrowth success coach, how are you able to implement some curiosity? Are you, or is it still curriculum dominates?
Well, I'm very fortunate that I have a different kind of situation where I have a homeroom where I have students with me for 4 or 5 hours at a time. So that's why I can paint with them and talk to them
Mm.
about different things. And so that's very beneficial to me. And one of the things that I have found a lot of success with is using like the talk to your brain concept to just
Mhm.
think about, like, talk about and get them talking to each other, not even necessarily with me. If I can get the conversation going, they'll talk to each other about the idea of, why do you think that? Whose thought is that you're repeating on loop in your brain, that loop that you're hearing, that you keep telling yourself over and over, that you're lazy, that you can't get it, where did that come from? And do you really believe that? So I'm able to do that with quite a few students and just get them to think, like, is that your own idea of yourself? Is that years of teachers or parents or anyone, your siblings, bullies, just repeatedly saying the same thing to you, and now that's become what you think of yourself? But did you really always think that of yourself? Like, capture these thoughts and
Mm.
think about who you really want to be and who you are, and is this true? What you're
Yes.
saying about yourself, is this true? And
Yes.
that's been very beautiful to be able to use in a classroom.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah,
So, as a child, you said you felt unseen. How did that
very
silence?
much.
How did that silence shape the teacher you became?
Um, I was I was unseen as a student, but I was definitely not silent. I was I wanted to be seen, and I had all teenagers. Um, myself, my siblings were all teenagers when I was born, when I was a little kid. So I
Mm.
competed with them for attention. So
Mm.
I worked hard to be seen, but at school, I think I just I kind of got a pass. I kind of got that the teachers knew I could do it if I wanted to, maybe, but I didn't really want to, and they didn't really want to argue with me.
Mm.
So it was kind of, go do whatever. And I can't be bothered to, like what I do now, where I'll sit with a student one on one and try to get to know them and say, well, why is it that you don't want to do this? Or is it the subject you don't like? Is it that you don't understand it? Is that you didn't go to school for 2 years during COVID and you missed all of that? So you don't have the knowledge that everybody tells you you're supposed to have? Because
Mm.
that's a big thing now. So,
Mhm.
in those conversations, no one had those conversations with me. It was just like, well, she's going to get loud and do what she wants anyway. So, just pass her. It was
Yes.
kind of more like that. And
Mm.
and I think my family itself was just, we had some addiction issues, and my father had passed away, and there were 5 kids. So I think that it wasn't intentional in any kind of way. It was just they did the best they could, and
Yes.
they all had issues. So there's not really, like, when you talk about being letting go of your past, a lot of time your grief or whatever you're going through becomes your present, and then you live in that. But if you look at it as the people who were around you and loved you when you went through whatever you went through, they kind of went through something too, and they probably did the best they can, because I think most
Mm.
people do. Things happen, and everybody tries to do the best they can. So if you can stay focused on, like, do the best you can now, and maybe help someone else that in a way you wish you got help. That's how I have made this trajectory to, taking not holding blame to people now. I mean, I'm older now. I certainly wasn't feeling like this in my 20s. I had plenty of blame to throw around. But to
Mm.
use that to help people, people who are going through what I went through, to be understood.
Yes.
And yeah, and I think I've been pretty successful at that. And then I found holistic success codes, and it's just it matches up with everything I believe in and everything I've been doing. So it's been kind of a miracle finding this. It's
So
great.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. We love having you with us on this movement and to serve 1.5 billion humans by 2035 and end the
it's going to be
suffering.
exciting.
I am very excited to have you with. So you say motivation was never the issue, readiness was. How do you now recognize when readiness is gone? How do we know readiness is gone?
Um, they're just checked out when you try to talk to someone about things related to academics, especially. They're they're maybe not. Maybe they appear that they don't understand the directions, and you repeat the directions, and you try to say the directions a different way, and they still just can't really understand what you're saying. It's like their their system automatically is in a feeling of freeze because they don't like the idea of the schoolwork. And so it doesn't matter what the topic is or what the approach is, they're not going to let their guard down. And so you have to get them to accept themselves, accept help from people, accept that their lack of knowledge isn't their fault, and
Mm,
that they're in a system that failed them, but they
mm,
should not fail themselves. That
mm,
it's got to mean more to them than just that this system. Yep, your parents failed you, this system failed you, teachers failed you. So what are you going to do now, right? You're 17, 18, 19. Are you going to just fail yourself? Like you got to decide what label you're going to carry. Just because they all labeled you failure, you don't have to live, you don't have to own that, you don't have to accept that. Think about
yeah,
what you thought about yourself when you were a little kid. Is that what you
yeah,
called yourself? What did you call yourself when you were a little kid?
yeah. So
Yeah.
because Coach Trish, you work with certain type of students, right? That's why you're
Yes.
saying these converse. Maybe tell us a little bit about it without saying any names or anything. Like, what type of program are you in?
Well, before I was in this program, I was a teacher at a hospital homebound program, and all the students were either at home sick or they were in centers. And I was their
Mm,
homeroom teacher, and I went and visited with them weekly. So I did that for
mm,
14 years.
oh,
And now
beautiful.
for the last 8 years, I have worked at a dropout prevention high school. The students there's a wide variety of students, some who just don't like the regular system, who want to get it done quicker, some who have had a lot of failure and have been told that their home school maybe isn't the best placement for them and they should find another place. A lot of students get moved around a lot. There's a lot of school jumping, so they never, some of them have maybe would have received an IEP earlier on in their schooling if they had stayed in the same spot long enough to do that. Some have gone through foster care, still going through that, transitioning. So I've dealt with just kids who've had a variety of traumatic instances in their life that have brought them where they are. But I wouldn't say that every child at our school has had traumatic instances, but the COVID factor kind of affects every child now because the students who end up at my school all missed school during COVID, all of them, some way or another, whether they did online school and they didn't really do it, whether their parents just said, I don't care, we're going to do the best we can, whether they had a hybrid model and it didn't work for them at all. So, or the teacher didn't know what they were doing, so they never could get logged on, all the different things. So when they are at my school, they can work at their own pace and they don't have to be embarrassed by the fact that I don't know how to read a graph because the years that I would have learned that, I wasn't in school. And now I'm in this advanced science class and I'm supposed to be reading, interpreting a graph, and I don't understand graphs whatsoever. So to be
Mm,
able to say that, it's hard for a student to say that. So you kind of have to be one-on-one to get them to
to
be
be
to say, okay, where are you really at? Let's see where you're really at so I can help you from
mm,
where you're at. And they're not going to say that in a group. So that's the kind of work that I do every day. And I teach earth science and US history in the
mm.
context of working with my homeroom students and students in other rooms who come to me for help in those subjects.
So those subjects are required for their graduation.
Yes. Yeah. All the different homerooms have different subjects. When they're done with earth science and history, they'll go to a different homeroom to work on whatever they want to work on next. They get to choose what classes they want to work on as long as they're like, they got to do algebra before they can do geometry, but basically they can choose which subjects they want to do. So there's a lot of autonomy there, but there's also a lot of freedom to sleep and put your head down and be disengaged and refuse to do any work. They can
And then,
definitely refuse to do work. Yeah.
so, so how do we get those kids to be ready? Because I was going to ask, do you say you should be trying harder?
I never say that.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I was just going to say that's what you should be saying when they put their head down. You should be trying harder.
Try harder, try harder. Oh, get out my cowbell and the bell by their head. Teachers do crazy things, don't they?
So what
You
do you
gotta
do
know.
when they put their head down and they're not ready to learn? What happens after?
Well, first you have to know why they're putting their head down, right?
Hmm.
Some people really need to put their head down. They may not have had a place to sleep last night. They
Hmm.
might have come on a bus and not had time to eat breakfast, and they're like been up a few hours and they're really hungry. So, you really got to start with the basics, because
Hmm.
not everybody has a nice, stable home when they come to school or where they come anywhere. You don't know what's going on in somebody's life. So it's really important to know what's causing them to be not ready. And then once you're past the basic of, did you get sleep? Are you up all night playing video games?
Hmm.
Did you have breakfast? Did you have a ride to school here? Are you safe in your life? Then to talk about what is the thing that is making you feel tense inside. What are your thoughts that are making your body say, I just collapse and not want to do this, and try to get to what are you actually thinking about yourself? Because there is so much negative self-talk. It's astonishing. It's astonishing how terrible kids talk about themselves and to each other. It's
Why do you think that is happening? What is your
um
take on it?
I think a lot of it has to do with there's no restrictions on what they watch or see anymore. So they see or watch whatever they want all the time. And I think adults, I'm older, so like when I was a kid, adults really didn't swear around kids. And I
Hmm.
think that era's kind of gone. So kids' language is looser. And then there's quite a negative environment politically that fuels some of the negative talk amongst people in the teen and young 20 group. They've got a lot of thoughts and feelings about things, and some things are triggering them, especially
Hmm.
things that are going on now. So they could either be acting out, or some people are withdrawn. They're like, I just cannot deal with listening to all this blah 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 in the room. Those girls are talking about that stuff. I can't hear it. I don't want to hear that. And they're just like, I'm gonna put my head down and you need to leave me alone. So that
Hmm.
there's all these dynamics in a classroom right now. It's something. It
And
really is something.
then you're asked to push the history lessons, right? As
Well,
this is
yeah,
happening.
they still gotta they still gotta learn some history. You can make connections with the civil rights movement, though. So, and I can talk about what I want to talk about to a degree. So I find things to connect it back to, and that's not so bad. And really do have the opportunity to work with one-on-one in small groups. So then I have the opportunity to have these conversations and to get them in touch with their nervous system and their body and how their body's reacting. But as a teacher, while I'm having those conversations with this group, there's 10 other ones in their room on the phone or asleep. So,
Hmm.
like you say, you're just in this system and you do the best you can. And I'm so grateful to have things to implement like this.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know where else my students would be getting these kind of lessons that they can get from me right now in this kind of time and place in the world. Really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for
It's
doing that.
my pleasure.
So you learned that pushing equals support. Why do we confuse pressure with care? You unlearned. Sorry, I meant to say
Yes.
you unlearned. You're like, I learned. I'm sorry. No, you unlearned. I can pay attention now. You unlearned that pushing equals support. Why do we confuse pressure with care?
I think it's just what we all know. I think it's what parents do, and it's what their parents did. And grandparents are pushy.
But don't we remember how it was when somebody pushed us? And then why do we do it when it's somebody else? Like, when, like, you're saying that our parents did it. Did we like it then?
Well,
Did
no,
we
but
think it was?
I think it's like programming. It's like the habit, you didn't like it. I mean, how many times as an adult do you hear yourself saying like, oh my gosh, my mother said that. I was never going to say that. And I just said that. You're like, oh. So I think to a degree, there's it's the habit of the instructors and the parents and of the people to think that this pressure is going to work. And maybe in a different dynamic in the world, maybe in the previous ways of other people growing up, it did work to a degree. But now people are withdrawing, they're rebelling, they're more aware that they have choices within their nervous system. I think, maybe in previous generations, kids were more afraid. They were told to just shut up, right? They're going to get hit. Now kids have a lot more choices. So they're making the choice that their nervous system is pushing them to make, where maybe previously people couldn't feel like they could do that. So this is what they know. My parents pressured me. I'm now pressuring my kid, and the kids today are like, whatever, it's not going to work for me. I'm not succumbing to your pressure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a different generation, different, they they're also consuming different things that we never consumed, right? So there's this
very
different way
much.
their minds are working in different ways that I don't think it was working for us.
Yeah.
We
I think
always
that
felt,
I relate to them well because I was kind of like they are now. I was an eloper, as they call them. It was kids who can't stay in the room, or where'd that kid go? That's what they call them now, kids who elope. And I was a kid who eloped, and I was a kid who just made it difficult for the teacher to track me and work with me. So they would leave me alone. So most kids that I was a standout kid doing that at my school in my space as a child. Other kids weren't doing that. So now lots of kids are doing what I was doing. So I understand them in a different kind of way, I think. I think my past, the lessons I've learned in that I could still be successful. I mean, people are shocked that I'm a teacher when they meet me who knew me as a kid. Like, how could you be a teacher? Do you stay in the room? And honestly, I don't. I have to elope from my room sometimes now. I get a teacher to cover, and staying just in one place all day is not something that I enjoy doing. So yeah, I still have to go take walks, and that's okay. That's what I do. I take a break, I take a walk, and it's often I take a child with me, take a student with me. Come on, let's go take a walk. Let's get out of here a minute. And that, it's, yeah, I don't know. I think I lost track of exactly where I was going with that, but did I answer your question?
yeah, it's fine. I want to ask you this. So you said, you talked about believing you had procrastination problem in your article. Do you remember? What
Yes.
changed when you realized you were waiting to be ready? What changed when you realized you were waiting to be ready?
Um, I feel like procrastination and also lazy, that I had the idea I was lazy somewhere along the way, that's what I would tell myself. But I really have proved to myself a million times over that I'm not lazy. And as I went through your program, it really made me think about like what I'm telling my students now. Why are you thinking that about yourself? And I've realized that that's what happened to me in the past, that it was internalized, that these teachers and my parents who kept saying, try harder, you're smart, do more, try harder, that didn't connect with me, made me feel like I was lazy. And then when I did turn things in, I kind of did it last minute. So I was a lazy procrastinator. So when I came to the realization that was just a system problem, that this is a system that told me this. It wasn't my system. And my
Mm,
system is aware that I'm not lazy. I'm curious. I like to do things on a timeline that works for me, and
mm,
that's okay. And I think that's what people need to learn in the world, right? That understand yourself and understand the way you're thinking and understand how your nervous system works, and allow yourself to be who you are and what works with you for you, even if you're in a system that's kind of trying to choke that out of you. which a lot of
Yeah.
our systems are. You have to find your path that's really unique to you, but it's inside you. And as I've discovered more and more of that, it's been a lot easier to just, the minute those kind of thoughts come, I can immediately say, thank you. That was my past. I learned these lessons from that, and bye. Shut up. Don't need you anymore. Appreciated it, but bye. And that's been a tremendous help to me and help to my students. So
That's
I,
awesome.
I would love for the world to be able to just grasp that amount, right? Just talk to your brain and know your own triggers so that you don't have to run out of a room in fear or close yourself into your hoodie and put your head down on the desk. There's other options
Yes.
that are
We have so
better.
many schools. We have so many schools reaching out and asking about Readiness OS.
That's
Um,
fantastic.
so we are going to have this, you know, accessible to so many people very soon that it's going to change. The suffering has to end because we're just kind of looping ourselves and talking to ourselves in these stories that we create and make them, then they become the facts that we,
Definitely.
value, right? We put value to it, and then we create more stories out of that, and then we live in the storyline, and we go to the past and the future, and then never here to do anything about it, right? So it goes back to the whole thing. So yeah,
Yes.
I'm excited. I'm so excited, and I'm so happy to hear that your students are using it and it
Oh,
being
yes.
empowering them. So thank you. So how many adults are carrying shame for something that is actually the nervous system wisdom, do you think?
All of them.
So explain to me, like, so what does that even mean? So carrying shame.
Well, the terminology of guilty. I feel guilty. I feel guilty about this. And I hear myself frequently saying, well, just forget it. Not to be dismissive, although that was. I mean that it's just not going to do anything for you. Guilt does nothing. It does nothing to help you to move you forward. It does nothing to help you learn the lesson from the past. Guilt is stuck, and you don't want to be stuck. And when you become stuck in guilt, it becomes shame. And I
Mhm.
just, in my regular life, I see a lot of people and I talk to a lot of people, and even if they don't come right out and say they feel ashamed, they feel guilty about this, a lot of it is when you listen to people tell stories that is a story about a day in their life. You can hear this shame people carry sometimes.
Yes.
And a lot of parents carry a lot of shame because parenting isn't what they thought it was going to be. And guess
Yes.
what? It's not. It's not what you thought it was going to be. And at the beginning, when you said that I was busy, and I walked with my son, I'm all red faced today. And I said it was good busy. I just want to make this point. This is kind of a side note, but I was good busy because my adult son called me and asked me to do something with him. And
Oh.
adult children, if you have adult children and they want to do something with you, do something with them. This is the opportunity to say, whatever the past with them doesn't matter, and whatever the future I want for them doesn't matter. Right here today, my adult child wants to do something with me. And even if you don't think it's the greatest thing to do and you're not really feeling like you want to do it, it is such a blessing for your adult children to want to hang out with you and want to take you to the places they want to go and want to talk to you. And I am blessed to have 3 adult children who enjoy my company, and when they call, there's not much else I won't do because I feel that so strongly. So I want to put that out in the world that if you have adult children and they call you to do something, drop what you're doing and
Mm,
be present for them because they're trying to be present with you. And that is really what the world is about. Presence with each other in the moment is really what it's about.
beautiful. Thank you. So what is the difference between avoidance and regulation?
Avoidance is just can't even figure out the first steps, don't even want to deal with it or talk about it, or maybe even acknowledge that there's any kind of problem. And regulation is understanding, okay, things aren't going well, going as expected, but we can come to solutions. We can figure out ways to make it work for you so that you can be regulated. We can stop and take a breath and try to figure out what's going on.
So
and
when
get a
somebody shuts down, right? You mentioned earlier the student putting their head down. Somebody who doesn't know the readiness OS will look at that and say that's avoidance.
Mhm.
That's getting out of the work that they need to do. Even if they didn't sleep or all that reasons are behind it, but they are still in this classroom, so they have something to do
Yes,
here. So why aren't they getting up and doing it? They have a responsibility here. They're not taking their responsibility seriously. Those are things we could say, and they can also say try harder. Mm, smarten
and
up.
they wouldn't
Wake
try
up.
any harder. They would
But
say, "I don't like that teacher. Mrs. Robicheau, could you keep that teacher away from me? They really
but
bug me."
But in the eyes of readiness, that is regulation, because putting your head down is something's going on internally that they cannot take it anymore. So they need to put it down to regulate themselves, right? So sometimes behaviors that
Definitely.
we see and we label is the system regulating itself as well. That's why we all need quiet time, right? We move away from
Absolutely.
distractions, put ourselves by ourselves so that we can
Right.
regulate and come back. Because if I stay in this environment, I could blow up, maybe.
Yes, which is also why kids need to go for walks. That should be totally normal to be able to
Yeah.
take a walk. I mean, not at my school, but at traditional schools, they're expected to go to 7 classes with 4 minutes in between. You know, and fit a bathroom break in there, maybe. It's who nobody works like that. Who operates like what adults do that? Nobody does that. So the
Yeah.
ability to just move, move out of your seat, sit differently, have different get out of your just to change your body, change your body and it changes your mind. It's I feel like that's often true. Like I'm always telling kids, why don't you get up off that chair? Like sit on the yoga ball. I have yoga balls in my room or let's go for a walk or so they won't so there's another option to shutting down within themselves because
Yes.
it's so sad to see them like that. And it is it's truly sad to see them all withdrawn like that. So
Yes. What belief did you have to release about productivity in order to teach differently?
a lot of the beliefs about productivity are related to grades and passing tests and things like that that really they don't really they don't show anything. I mean they do to a degree, but the longer I've been in this system, the more I realize that so much data is just can be manipulated at any rate. And what are they really producing? That there's I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
having a
hard.
hard time thinking about my own students right now and how hard it is for them and the pressure to pass testing and the produce, even in a school that's mine that allows kids to take their time. That still I see them every day just shutting down over trying to pass this test so I can get my diploma. It's destructive. It's
So
it's
isn't a
literally
better
destructive.
question, isn't it better to ask and get curious about why are they not producing? Like what is causing them not to produce? Like instead of saying produce more, why aren't we asking what's going on with this biologically living system that is in front of me as a student? What is really going on inside of them that's causing them not to produce? Because I don't think anybody wakes up in the morning and says, I am not going to do anything today because I'm just going to be this person or that person. Like they don't do that, or
Yes,
they didn't decide that I'm not going to be a learner anymore, right?
right.
Obviously they're having difficulty learning.
Yes, they
So
are. But the system they're in makes it very difficult. It's counterintuitive, but schools sometimes make it hard to learn. There there's a pacing calendar and they have to be on it. So when they have fallen off track, then it doesn't feel like they need to. I think for the students, it doesn't feel like they need to actually learn the content. They need to produce the grade. So the learning becomes not the point. And I think that that's happened in schools a lot. So trying to get them to see that learning is way beyond learning for this test, learning for this grade, learning for this diploma. Learning is like for your life, for your brain to be curious, to be active, and to have
Mhm.
them connect back to like that's why I often go back to with my students. What did you like to do when you were a little kid? What did you like to play? What did you like to think about? What did you like to explore? Because I find
Mm.
that's where their curiosity can be captured, because some of them don't remember being curious. By the time they were a teenager, they can't think of a time when they were curious, which is so trying to get them to reconnect to what did you ever really like before it felt like pressure, before you just wanted to go outside and explore, and what did you like to do? What did you like to find? And to try to reconnect that with that, which luckily for me, that's where I can be an earth science teacher and sometimes connect that, because a lot of people like, frogs and bugs and butterflies. And that's kind of funny. Yeah.
Love it. So you said in your article, waiting without withdrawing. What does that actually looks like in practice? Do you remember writing that? Waiting without withdrawing.
Can you, what's
So you wait
the
without. So what does waiting without withdrawing actually looks like in practice?
waiting without, oh, okay. Sorry. I was thinking about, my mind's all over the place right now as I'm talking this through, all my students kind of pictures come in my mind. So I have to shift back out of thinking about them, which is a funny
It's
thing
really,
with
you're really,
funny
you're,
thing
you're
as a
really,
teacher.
you're really invested in them, right? Each of them, right? They heard
I
you.
am.
It
I
hurts
am.
you
Because a lot of them really don't have too many other people. So,
to understand them. They're like you do.
yes. And when
Thank you.
I'm good about disconnecting outside of school. Honestly, you wouldn't think so from this conversation, but because we're talking about this, it's making me think about them. So waiting without withdrawing might look like in my classroom, in my existence, is like I'm not ready to do this right now, and maybe I'm waiting for my body to feel comfortable here, or I'm waiting for this teacher to come and help me, or I'm waiting for my mind to settle down, or I'm waiting for to get a drink, to go to the bathroom, to feel settled here. That's not withdrawing. And to some people it might look like
Well, they're
eloping.
making excuses. I mean, it
Right,
sounds
they're
like it's an
eloping.
excuse.
You've let them out of the room 4 times and they've
Yeah.
only been here 20 minutes. Right. I
Yes.
let them go to the bathroom. I let them go get a drink. I let them talk to their guidance counselor, and I let them get a snack. I let them do all those things in the first 30 minutes they were here. Sure did.
Sounds like a
Because
lot of
they're
wasted
gonna be
hours. I mean,
right.
wasted
So they're
time.
that's not withdrawing, and that's not eloping. That's
I'm just
just
kidding with you.
getting themselves ready with the things they need. And then they come in and they're like, okay, I could be ready now. Or so I feel like waiting is understanding there's a time I'm going to do this, and my time is my time. Withdrawing is people are pressuring me to do this and I can't handle the pressure, or my time is my time. So the heck with you. I don't care. Now that you're trying to make me do it on your time, I'm not doing it at all.
Mhm.
Or I'm just
So
can't deal with
so
you.
that compassion is not everybody's. Like I was just joking with you when you were saying that. That's not how everybody looks at it, right? That could be looked at it as they're just making all this excuses to get out of the work. They're
Yes.
wasting time,
Right. They're
right?
lazy. They're
Yeah,
never going to
but
do it
you take it
anyway.
as they're waiting to get ready. They're not withdrawing, but they're waiting. The
Right.
readiness is not there, so they got to go do all of these things, and then when they come back, they're going to be ready for you, right? That's the like you're doing.
Yes, often. And sometimes they're not. But I see these things as steps, not
Perfect.
not just running around randomly. These are the steps they're taking. This is their routine. Some of them, that's their routine. They want to go say hello to the secretary. They want to say hello to certain people. They want to check in with people. And maybe that makes them feel grounded. Maybe that makes them feel connected to the school, like they belong there, right? They want to go talk to the secretary. They come in late and say hello to her, and they got to get to class and turn in their pass. So maybe they want to go back later and say, hey, how are you today, miss? So I think just being human beings. I think that when adults go to work, that often they work in environments where they can go to other spaces and say hello to the other adults and check in and say, how are you doing? And I think students should have that same grace, but that's not really the system that we're in, right? There's not a lot of grace for human connection, honestly. Like the humanity is lacking.
Yes. So how do you partner instead of police?
Well, I have this year I have completely stopped policing phones, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not, because there definitely is a real thing as phone addiction. And I have some kids that I I think they've succumbed. And so
But
that's
how old are they, your students? You said there's 18,
15 to
17 maybe?
22.
Oh,
15 to
15.
22. Yeah. So that's my little disclaimer about policing, because we did police phones, but I've given up on that. But partnering is,
Well, go back. So when you did police, did it work?
well, we had a system at my school where each classroom had a box, and the phones would go in the box. And my school decided not to do that any longer. But I did think that box was I do think it was working. But even then, it was voluntary. I didn't force kids to do it. The box was an option. And I do think having the physical box was better, because kids who want to get work done, when they come to that, they really can't have their phone next to them. A lot of them, they can't. Like, it dings. and they can't. So they did come to actually, like, I'm going to go put my phone in the box while we're doing this lesson so I won't be distracted. So I did think it worked. However, we don't have the box anymore, and it's very hard to police all these students and their phones. So I've kind of put that on the back seat. But in partnering, it's your goals. Like, what is it you want to learn? What is it you want to get out of this? What is it you want to do next in your life? What is it you want to do you want to go to school next? Do you want to go to tech school? When do you want to graduate? Do you want to graduate in a year or in 5 years? Because this is actually within your control. So I'm partnering with them on, what do you want? When do you want to get out of this school? What subjects do you think you need to learn for that next thing you're going to do? What's a different way you could learn it if this way stinks and you don't like it? So it's connecting them to what they actually want, and not trying to pretend, if they think that earth science sucks and it's stupid and they don't need to know any of it, don't try to convince them that they do. Like, okay, then okay, with earth science, you need to figure out how to get the grades to pass this class. And if you don't learn anything and you don't want to learn anything, then just do the work and, memorize it for a minute and forget about it. I'm not trying to convince you that everything you're doing in school is meaningful and you need to learn it and grasp it. But you can't even convince a kid of that. That ship has sailed. Like, the kids know that everything, a lot of it's meaningless. They know there's,
Well, they're
so
gonna say that I could just ask ChatGPT or something now. So as well as
right.
my phone, I can ask my phone too. So
Right. So I feel like connecting them with, what does this matter to you and your future and your goals and your life, and how long do you actually want to stay in high school? Because, they'll keep you a long time, but you're going to see your friends moving on in life and doing other things, and you're still going to be over here. You're going to start to feel bad about that, probably, unless you really don't care. Some don't.
So let me ask you. So you said some students sit and do very little for months, right? While you know you're giving them this grace and partnering with them, right, without policing
Mhm.
and stuff. So how do you hold space and not without panicking? Like, I would be like, okay, we got curriculum to finish, we got testing to do, we got you go to how do you maintain yourself
Well,
from panicking?
I am not teaching a subject with high stakes testing. So there's that.
Okay.
If you're teaching the math and the English, you're on the kids a lot more, and you have to be. The school goals are all aligned to that. The system needs you to get the kids to pass these things. So I feel like I'm with earth science and US history, I have a lot more leeway. I also have leeway to sit down and talk through lessons and get them to respond to some questions and then give them a grade, knowing that we covered topics. So I'm a lot freer than a lot of other teachers are. So I can give them more grace. And I just try to know how I can connect with them and what their goals are. And I have data chats with them, and then they say these are their goals and this is what they want to do. And then they spend a whole nother week sleeping or just withdrawn or just not doing anything. Or a lot of kids really just stare at the screen, which is odd too. They'll sit in front of the screen for like a couple hours and just stare at the screen, not do any work. That's an odd thing. But
Are they not on their
I
phone then?
I just keep at them,
Are they not at the
not
phone? When they're staring at the screen, maybe they're have their phone. I don't know. It's a waste of time to stare at the
um
screen.
they're pretending to do their online class.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay. Okay. So there's a focus
but it
going.
never moves forward, and they think I don't notice. Like, you've been looking at page 18 for about 35 minutes. Yeah, that's how invested they are in not learning, that they'll stare at a screen pretending that they're doing the work. Right? I mean,
What if we could just
that's
stop and
just
bring the
drawn, right?
readiness back to them, right? It's like almost like, yeah, I can see why you're sad and your sadness comes because you can just see how wasteful all of this is, right? I mean,
Yes,
they're sitting to pretend they're doing work. You're sitting there thinking, pretending they're doing work. Right? Like the whole thing seems the missing pieces. I'm going to go back to the readiness is not there. Doesn't matter
right.
what comes in front of you, you're not going to do it. You're not going to get the kid to do it. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
that's why I work with all of the kids, and I work with the kids how they're ready to work with me. So I
Yeah.
do always have kids who are coming in and want to do a lesson and want to do a lab and want to hear my stories about, the Civil War and whatever. And I work with them. And oftentimes the other kids who have been withdrawn, when then they see other kids coming in, and they'll say, well, I really do want to finish this class. Like, I really do want to get this done. The next time you're doing a group, can I come sit over there? And sometimes they'll come sit over there and they're still not doing it. They're not writing anything down. They're not doing any
Well,
of this
that's
stuff, but they're
improvement,
sitting
though.
there.
That's improvement. They asked, they can.
Exactly. Like, it's steps. It's all steps.
Yeah.
People
I
need to
love
be encouraged about their steps and not be made to feel like that's all you did. Like,
No.
a kid
That's the
comes and
last
sits
thing you
at the
should tell them
table,
at that moment, right?
right?
At that moment, if you say that to them, well, you came, but you didn't still do anything. I mean,
Right. That's
you just lost the first steps that were gonna go in the right direction.
Oh, yeah. And you know what?
Yeah.
When they go back to their seat, they're not going to pretend to read anymore. They're going to now put their head down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So
gonna have to now work to get their head back up. So,
yes.
yeah, it's just, you can't crush people. You gotta acknowledge their steps and encourage their steps. It's really important.
Yeah, love it. What shifts first when the readiness returns? What do you see as a shift? The first thing you see in kids like that. I guess the one you just mentioned is that's there was some readiness starting to flow.
Yeah. You
Something
know
was
what I
happening.
noticed the most though? When they
Yeah.
walk in the door and look at me and say, "Hi, this is Robicheau." A lot of them just walk in and go straight to their seat, put their head down, walk in and just don't want to engage. And if they say hello, they give you the side eye, but they don't turn their head, or it's like. So it's a lot of people are withdrawn. So when they come in the door and they're looking ready, that's the big clue that they've turned the corner to.
Mm,
I'm at school for a reason. I came
mm,
here for a reason. Actually supposed to learn some things here. And a lot of times when I'm talking to kids who are very withdrawn, and then I start trying to move into doing work, and they're like, "Yo, why are you bothering me?" And I remind them, well, I am a teacher and we are at a school. And ultimately, that really is what the goal is, for you to learn and graduate. We're friends, and I'm trying to help you get your goals and move forward. But at the same time, it's also my job to make sure you can read and understand concepts and know your history. So I have to get there too. I can't just be like, okay, you did great. You came to the table and now you get an A. So but they get more and more willing. It's not, you don't have to battle. If you make them feel safe and heard, then you don't have to battle with them. But you have to accept their timeline. That's the thing. That you have to accept kids' timelines, because the more you push your timeline, the less you're going to get out of them.
yes. So what would happen if schools measure readiness before performance?
The whole thing would turn around. Honestly, kids would feel comfortable and safe at school, uh, and they would keep their curiosity.
But somebody might be listening and say, but kids are going to feel like lazy. Like we can't let them do whatever they want. I mean, this is
Kids are
school.
not lazy. That's,
That's what
I mean,
somebody might say.
the whole idea of how society wants to, we're using tablets as babysitters for toddlers and small children, right? And we're doing that because kids are so freaking active. We can't deal with sitting at a table with them. So
Mm.
therefore, they're not lazy. They're curious. They can't sit at the table because they want to see what it looks like when salt and pepper falls on the table because they're curious, because children are born with it. They're programmed to explore their world and learn it. And in our hearts, we all know this because we do a lot of things to contain that and to stop it in schools and at home and with tablets and devices and with the sit in your seat mentality and, be still and quiet. All of that is destined to set up a system to contain children's natural curiosity. And now
Yeah.
we're surprised that kids have all this anxiety when we've suppressed their curiosity. We need to
Yes.
unleash them, honestly. Let them move around. Let them explore their world in a way they like.
I would say one more thing is we've been measuring performance all these decades, right? All these years, right? Is it working? If it is, continue, right? You should only continue things that are working. If you can
Yeah,
honestly admit that it's working, then continue. If it's not, it's time to do something about it. And
absolutely.
that's something everybody is looking for and craving, and this anxiety and all of this, it will be eliminated if we ask one question: is this child ready, versus can you perform? They will
Yeah.
perform as a byproduct of readiness. They will perform. Every one of us can perform if we're ready to perform. If my system is ready to perform, everyone can perform.
Yes. And
But
people
if we're
fake
not,
perform.
yeah,
There's kids fake perform, but it breaks them after a while. The fake performance. So, the high achieving kids, they're not internal, not like some of them who get really high anxiety and kind of struggle with their feelings and their emotions.
because
It became
learning should be
performance for
enjoyable,
them.
right? Learning
What?
should be enjoyable. Learning and
Yes,
performing should be enjoyable at all times. If they're not, it's pressured. Even
right.
if you're doing really well, if you're pressured to do it, then where's the enjoyment? And then eventually in life, you do feel like at the end of the day, high performance always feel empty too sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because we're like, what now? What do I do now, right? Like, I performed, I got it,
Right.
I got done, like, now what? Because the enjoyment is not there. So it's like like we say, like, success, right? What is success? Every success to every person is different, right? So that's kind of what performance is too, when you push it
Sure.
forward. So what would you say to a teacher who is physically sick from trying to hold it all together?
I would tell that teacher that they need to really step back into themselves and find what settles their nervous system and find time and space to be themselves, do the things they like, even if it's a small amount once a week, that you have to stay centered in yourself to do any of this work with the students. And that it's very overwhelming. It's okay to have to take a walk out of your classroom. It's okay to have to take some deep breaths. It's okay to teach the students that they can take a break, that they can take deep breaths. It's okay to slow down. But I know a lot of teachers, it's hard for them to hear that and believe that. So
Yes.
I understand your plight.
Yes. So what would you say to a student who thinks they are lazy, or they were told they're lazy?
Um, I would tell that student to think about if they really believe that about themselves. And I would try to get them to think about times when they were full of energy and doing something productive and accomplished things. And almost every kid can think of something like that. Maybe they sold candy bars for their baseball team and they really went out there and they sold them all and they had great sales and they worked hard at it for a week straight. Well, you're not lazy then, right? So try to help them connect with themselves, because a lot of kids are told they're lazy. We should just banish that word, honestly. What good is it doing?
Oh, I
Take
have
that
some
word
words. I have
with
some
guilt,
words to
right?
add to that.
Shame, guilt, lazy. Bye, bye, bye.
Also, behavior. I think the whole behavior word has to go. I mean,
Yeah,
every time we're speaking, we're just saying it as they're just full of behavior. They're just full of behavior. They're just full of behavior. But let's look past the behavior.
Well, what does that even mean? What's
I don't
behavior?
know.
Well,
I don't know, but it's been
we're
told
behaving
all the
very
time.
civil right now. We're behaving civil. Everybody's behaving all the time, some way or another, right? Like, some are behaving
But
kind, some
we're
are behaving like
taking
jerks.
we're taking our body reacting to something and calling it just a behavior, and as if it's just, if I could just have control over it. I don't. Obviously, I don't have control over. Some of these kids don't have control over what they're doing because their system is responding to the whatever is happening to them, so they don't have control over these behaviors. And if we just say
Yeah,
behavior, it's just behavior, it's just behavior, that word bothers me a lot, because when a system is signaling like SOS signal, like I can't survive this, and we're just calling it a behavior, then it just, anyway, it could have a name, but now it has become a thing, right? We just call it.
yes.
It's almost like a label on its own.
And it's a label for the kids, but there's plenty of adults with behaviors too, all over the place.
I
They're
have some
behaving.
behaviors too. Every one of us have behaviors, don't we? We
Hey,
have behaviors. I have lots of behaviors. I repeat things, different behaviors that I repeat.
I'm
Yes.
sure I have behaviors my husband finds annoying.
I have behaviors I find it annoying too, myself even. So we all are behaviors. So that word, yeah, lazy behavior, and try harder. It's another one
Try harder.
we can retire. Okay, so finish this sentence for me. Readiness is not about slowing, it's about what?
Wait, say that you broke up. Readiness is not about.
Readiness is not about slowing down. It's about what?
It's about. Oh my goodness. Feel like, is this from my article and I'm supposed to know the word that I wrote there?
No. Just whatever's coming to your heart. Tell me what's coming to your heart, because we talk from our heart.
Readiness
Who
is
cares about the
not
article?
about slowing down.
It's about what?
It's about, this sounds weird, but checking in. It's about
No,
checking
why
in
is it
with
weird?
yourself.
Checking in
I
with
don't
your
know.
systems. Yeah,
Yeah.
checking in with your systems, or
Yeah.
having compassion for yourself,
Oh,
like
yeah.
right?
Mercy for yourself. Right.
So, yeah,
Like
grace. Give yourself
stopping
some
and coming
space.
into yourself,
Yeah,
you know?
come home
Yeah.
to yourself. Come home to yourself, and recognize. I am not ready to do this. Like you said beautifully earlier. Like it made me even think deeper about some stuff, is that those kids are taking steps to different, like the steps that looks to us, educators and parents, that looks to us as, oh, they're making excuses, or they're buying time, or they're wasting time. But to some, those are the readiness steps that
Right.
get them to the place to sit down and then finally focus. Whatever, I mean, it looks like going to the bathroom and within 20 minutes are arriving, walking, drink water, like moving around. That is
Yes.
what gets them ready to sit down.
Absolutely. And parents need to know that. Like if your kid's at home and you want them to do their homework and they're like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm ready to do it. And then they go through this 20-minute routine. If you start yelling at them, or if you start saying, come on, you got to get this done. It's almost bedtime. This is taking too long. You're slowing them down. They're going to be in the bathroom for 20 minutes instead of 5. So that's their routine, and the pressure of like, all right, it's counterproductive. So it's good for parents to know that. To have mercy with your child, have mercy with them. Trust that they're going to come back and do what they say they're going to do in their time frame, and give them the chance to prove that's a truth, instead of automatically assuming they're just procrastinating and they're not going to do it and it's the same old thing. Give them mercy. Give them some time. See how it works. Try it.
And that's what speeds up. So it's not about slowing. It might look to us as, oh, we're just wasting time now, I'm just giving him 20 minutes, but that is the only 20 minutes he might or she might need. Then after that they sit down and get going, right? But if we have
Right.
interrupted that 20 minutes of their getting ready phase, whatever the system requires to get ready, now we are in arguments, right? A lot of time we get into arguments with our kids, or where they're like, they don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And
And remember how they're rushed through their school day. Maybe that 20 minutes is the first 20 minutes they've had all day. Like, who knows? It's okay. So it's okay
So
to.
those of you who are listening, it's really important to understand that we're not saying let the kids do whatever they want, because some might be listening to us going, what do you mean? Let them do whatever? No. We're saying that understand that they're a living child, right? There's a living being. There's a soul behind this child. We have been trained to look for outcomes, output, performance. So when it's not happening, we have tendency to rush a living system to do what it needs to do. But that living system has its own pace. So that's why you're saying grace, grace,
Yes.
give them the space, hold the capacity until they get the capacity to perform, hold the space for them so that they can become ready. And readiness has more in depth. When we talk about readiness, we're talking it through our biological systems, our soul print biology as well. So that is what we're talking about. So this is something that we need to rethink. It's a new lens, new way of thinking, and it makes everybody's job way more pleasant than what we're doing right now, and what it's not working. So it's time to do something about it.
Yes, it's exciting. If we could change the way the system is rolling towards a readiness system, it will be revolutionary. It really will. You know it. I know it.
Yes, absolutely. So here's our magazine. It's now called Learning, Living, and Leading. In these magazines, all of our coaches are certified coaches who are holistic neurogrowth success coach who uses the Readiness OS and the Blocks to Flow method. They contribute to this magazine every other month. We launch them. And this time we launched this one as our legacy issue because it's time for Readiness OS to go into classrooms, go into homes, because it is what's going to change what is crumbling, because it is not working. And doing something that's not working, it's insanity. And Albert Einstein said that, right? Doing something that's not working, it's insanity. So it's time to change it. It's time to change it. And it's going to help all of us live a better life. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. I know you had a busy day with your son. You took the time to come, so I appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you all of you for contributing here. Good morning from Thailand. I also learned a lot about me going through the first phase of the program before becoming a certified holistic success coach, says MC. And Kat says this is an important work, getting students ready to learn. Yes, ready to learn is a very important phase of every one of our lives. Yes. Thank you so much. We'll see you. Yeah, another live tomorrow. I will have another coach. Awesome. Have a blessed night, everyone. Thank you so much.